What's going on, guys? A Delicious Mango here, and today I've got an interesting type of video for you. The mid-season update for Apex Legends Season 21 is coming in just over a week, and I've got 15 things that I truly believe Apex Legends needs to add or change to make Season 21 much better than it is now. I'm going to break this down into 3 different categories. We're going to start with 5 things about Legends specifically. After that, we'll go 5 things about weapons specifically, and then we'll have 5 in general things regarding the health of the game, playlists, ranked, etc. I've got all the timestamps up for you here so you can skip to the parts you're interested in, and let's go ahead and jump right into the Legends right now. For the Legends section, I'm going to take one Legend from each class that I believe needs some work, and for the Assault class, we're going to start with Ashe. Ashe is supposed to be a very aggressive initiator and a decisive finisher with the tools she has in her kit with the arc snares and with her ultimate one-way portal to go to any spot pretty much immediately. I think the arc snares are in a good spot because they gave her some perks that make the snares last longer and give you 2 of them, and that's pretty nice, but her ultimate could use some work. You're too much of a sitting duck right when you get out of that Ashe TP, so I would like for them to add to her Ashe ultimate what they have for Alter's Tactical, where once you get to the end of that Ashe TP, you've got like maybe 1 second where you're in phase and you can move away from the opening of the Ashe portal to not just be a sitting duck right when you leave the portal. I think that'd make her a lot safer to use that ultimate. You could TP right up next to someone and then move out of a little bit of danger. I just think it'd make her a lot more viable because she's not very viable as an initiator right now. In the Skirmisher class, I really do believe Valkyrie needs some buffs, and I would buff her ultimate specifically, as I do believe her perks do a pretty good job of making her jetpacks really strong. I just don't think that she needs to have a perk to make her ultimate fly even higher than it does now, simply because she's been replaced by an item. I mean, which would you rather have on your team? 1 Valkyrie or 1 balloon? At this point, the balloon is just a lot more valuable. I think that they should buff the speed in which she goes up her ultimate and how high it should go up at base. So even after that, you could add an extra 15% with the perk and she can go super duper high. I think she needs something. There's no way a character should be replaced by a survival item, and unfortunately, Valkyrie just kind of is right now. Okay, do not be alarmed. Don't get your pitchforks and torches out, but just hear me out. The one character that needs a buff more than any other character in the Recon class is Seer. Now listen, I know that sounds horrible, but I think we could buff Seer to make him usable and not super meta again. Right now, all of his kit is pretty good. The only problem is that you really can't hit his tactical because it's just so slow to close down. You throw out the tactical and then it activates like a 1.5 seconds later. I think if you sped up the activation time of his tactical by maybe just even 1/4 second, it would make it so you hit a few more, and it wouldn't make him more picked than Bloodhound, and arguably even Crypto would still be better. But I just think that Seer right now is so bad. He's arguably the worst character in the game. You could buff his tactical speed just a tiny bit, and I think it would be okay. If you're still with me to this point, thank you so much for watching. If you guys could hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you thought that Seer take was just horrible, feel free to let me know down in the comments. I'm happy to engage with any of your thoughts on this type of video, and I always appreciate your feedback. But now let's keep it moving. Here we are in our first nerf that I'm going to suggest in this video. I think that maybe double Lifeline res hands-free with gold knockdown shield is a little bit too strong. I mean, it's a great character, don't get me wrong, but I'm starting to feel like at the top rank, if you don't have a Lifeline with gold knockdown on your team, you almost literally can't win, because as long as the Lifeline is alive, there's nothing you can do. This is a long shot, and I know it's not going to happen, but I always loved the shield that Lifeline originally revived people with, and I think it would be very cool if Lifeline had 1 hands-free revive and then 1 shield revive, where it went back to Season 0, where she put a shield down with a Doc Drone and revived someone, so she actually had to do the reviving, but there was a shield up protecting you. So that way she could still revive 2 people at once, but 1 is hands-free and 1 she actually has to do herself. That way she can't revive 2 people back-to-back with 75 health and 50 shield. I think it'd be really cool. I don't think it's going to happen, but I do think that Lifeline right now has a extreme power jump when she gets that gold knockdown shield, and I'd like to see it tweaked a little bit. Finally, for the controller characters, I think it'd be really cool to give Wattson a different perk than the current blue perk she has, where she can revive her teammates with a little bit more HP. I would like to replace that perk with perhaps a buff to her passive, where you could choose either to spawn arc stars when grenades are thrown into your ult, or You can buff her shield regeneration passive. Maybe it goes up by another 25%, 50%, or double it. I'm not sure exactly what the best value would be. Maybe doubling it would be too much. But I think it would be cool and make Wattson a lot more viable when you don't have that many shields around. And I just think it'd be a little bit more interesting than a revive with more health perk. That's everything for the Legends section of this video. So now let's move on to the weapons. And I think we all know where we have to start. The Havoc needs a nerf. On screen, you're seeing two clips, not my clips, of back-to-back one clips with one magazine of the Havoc. I don't understand why this gun does as much damage as a flatline, shoots faster than a flatline, and has 6 more bullets in a purple mag than a flatline. And one of these clips is on a blue mag Havoc. Why is a blue magazine assault rifle comfortably one-clipping 2 professional players at the same time? I really think this gun needs a nerf, and I don't think it has to be damage. I think if we took the number of bullets in the magazine down a bit, made it more in line with the flatline, maybe drop the bullets in the magazine down by 4 or 6 per level, I think that might be enough. It would still be strong. It would still be great. And because it's got a lot of recoil, it would still be fairly balanced-ish. It would just be more in line with the flatline and not the absolute monster it is right now. The 7th idea that I have, the second in the weapons section, is I think we should take the bullets that we remove from the Havoc and give them to the R301. I really do believe that the R301 has a main problem right now of not dealing enough damage per magazine. The damage per bullet isn't great, but if the R301 had 32 bullets in a magazine instead of 28, I think you would get a lot more of those one clips. It's supposed to be an easy to use light damage weapon, but give it the opportunity to one mag somebody just like all the other assault rifles do. If we increased the magazine size in a purple mag R301 from 28 to 32, I actually think that would make a world of a difference, and I'd love to see them attempt that in this upcoming mid-season update. All right, this is the last, most repetitive part of the weapons section. I apologize, but I really do think that we need to adjust the magazine size on the Car SMG and the R99 as well. We just left a meta where we were really deep on the R99, one-clipping people super fast, and I think that's good. I think that it's good that we left that behind and we reduced the damage on the Car and the R99. But now there's really no point in running either of those. You should just pick up a Havoc or a Flatline or an assault rifle instead. It's a lot more reliable to one-clip someone. I think that we could buff those SMGs by giving them just a couple more bullets instead of buffing the damage. Damage buffs and nerfs are the most dramatic, and I think that buffing the magazine size of the R9 in particular, but also the Car, would be a little bit beneficial to bring us closer to an SMG viability era again. Not an SMG dominant meta like we have been, but just make those 2 SMGs, the fast killing SMGs, a little bit more viable. There's no digi, so you don't have to worry about the digi threat SMGs anymore. And don't worry, that's the last thing I have to say about increasing or decreasing magazine size in weapons. Idea number 9, I think the G7 could use a little bit of love. I think it would be pretty interesting to see the G7 get a little bit of a boost in power, whether that is through a 1 damage buff or a perhaps double tap hop up being added back on the ground. I don't think they do that mid-season, so I think a 1 damage buff is more likely. The Hemlock is the best gun in the game at range right now. It's simply the best. It does 60 damage per burst for all body shots. I think that the G7 could be the marksman weapon class answer to the Hemlock right now, but it needs a little bit more of a buff. The Hemlock is just a little bit faster to kill, a little bit stronger right now, and I think that the G7 with a slight damage buff, doesn't have to be a lot, but a slight damage buff could make it the most viable marksman weapon as a quick, fast, rapid fire, down someone quickly weapon. Right now, the 30-30 and the triple take are a lot more poke style marksman weapons. I think the G7 could be really exciting and interesting if we gave it a little bit of a damage buff, and it would be a little bit more on par with the Hemlock. Idea number 10, with the EVA 8 being in the care package and our only shotgun options being the Mastiff, Mozambique, or Peacekeeper, I would like to see a little bit of a buff to the Mastiff. I think that because it is the only shotgun that you can reload 1 bullet at a time, I would like to see that reload speed increased. I think that'd be a great way to buff its power a little bit. The ability to fire off 5 shots and then reload only 1 or 2 to get that last shot you need to wipe the squad, I think is a lot of fun. It makes the Mastiff interesting, and it's definitely the most different of all the shotguns that we have, and I really appreciate that. I think we should lean into that, make that shell loading speed just a little bit faster so you can shoot that 5 shots and then reload 1 or 2 shells, quickly fire again. I think that'd be interesting and make the Mastiff a little bit more viable, because right now the Peacekeeper is just flatly better, especially with the disruptor rounds. So speed up that reload time on the Mastiff. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and I think it'd make the gun feel pretty snappy, pretty reliable, and overall a better experience for shotgun players. The last 5 changes we need to add to Apex in the Season 21 mid-season update are more miscellaneous, so these are kind of 5 in general game-specific things like playlists, rank changes, cheaters, etc. And let's start with the playlist. I really do believe that it's a very, very simple addition to add a double XP weekend into Apex. You could do it with a special limited time mode like adding solos or perhaps the rumored quads, or just make control double XP. Make it double XP for overall legend progression as well as battle pass progression. I think a lot of people would hop on just for the weekend to play a little bit, get their season pass leveled up faster. I don't see why they don't do this. This works for games like X Defiant, doing double weapon XP right when it released. A lot of people were jumping on just so they could level up their weapons faster. I don't see any negatives to a double XP weekend, and I do think they should start adding this in Season 21. Idea number 12, speaking of double XP weekends, why don't we have a fun playlist every weekend? You guys remember back in the day, the September soiree, where we had things like Gold Rush duos, Always Be Closing, Second Chance, these different types of mini games that made small adjustments to the core Battle Royale experience that were really fun. I don't know why we don't have those on the weekends. I feel like it'd be a lot of fun to hop in with your teammate and say, Gold Rush duos, every gun on the ground is always gold. That's a lot of fun. Makes for some wacky, overpowered situations where all the guns are super juiced and you can run around with your friend and have a casual, fun time. I see no downsides to this either, especially if you're only going to do it for, say, Friday afternoon through Monday morning. Just make it a weekend thing. It shouldn't hurt the population too much. In fact, I think a lot of people would check in just to see what's fun, what's going on that weekend. So I think we should add some more fun playlists again on the weekend. It'd be great for a casual player. At number 13, I think it would be unwise or perhaps avoiding the elephant in the room for me to not talk about the cheater situation going on in ranked right now. Apparently, there have been almost up to 40% of the total Masters players in Apex Legends on PC right now getting banned. So 40% of the Masters players have been manually banned. That means that's just who's been caught. So we've got an insane, like literally the joke that most Pred players are cheating now might actually be true. So I don't know what's going on with the anti-cheat, but it is an absolute disaster at the top of ranked right now, especially. Thankfully, it's not so bad at the bottom because these players are like hardcore cheating, spin botting. They are doing like 10,000 damage a game. They're quickly getting up to diamond, so hopefully it doesn't affect the people at the bottom of the ranked leaderboards too much, but it's an absolute disaster up at the top. I'd be avoiding the elephant in the room if we didn't address it. Hopefully we can get a change for the next split, because right now, currently, it's unbearable. It's a disaster. Idea number 14, I would like to see, in lieu of some of these ranked cheating problems that we're having, I would like to see a return to the Apex Rumbles. They came out with one for 3 strikes in Season 20, and the Rumble was pretty cool. They came out with a Mastiff skin. There were some specific badges that you could earn. I think people enjoyed the Rumbles. I don't know if they're going to do it for specifically an LTM, or if they're going to do it for, just core trios or duos and a kill race type of thing. But the Rumbles were cool. There was really no downsides to the Rumbles that I can think of. Maybe their initial implementation was a little bit buggy and they didn't do it perfectly, but I think that it was a good idea, and I think that we should have some more Rumbles. Have a couple Rumbles every season, I think, and we might as well get one in the mid-season update. It's the perfect time to start one, right when a lot of people are hopping on for the new rank split. Give them a new Rumble, something to compete for as well. I think that'd be a simple and great idea. Finally, the last one. This is one I think they actually will do. I think that because Season 21 is really good from a gameplay perspective, but really bad from a content and cheater perspective, I think that they should go ahead and start the teasers for Season 22. I think that they really, really need to do their best to put this season behind them at this point. So start doing some in-game map teasers, some legends with new voice lines. I think it'd be a good idea to go ahead and get ahead of the curve there. Start teasing Season 22 early, get people excited, give people something to look forward to, because this season, while it was highly anticipated and interesting, it fell flat because of the serious problems that we've been seeing, and I think that teasing Season 22 would be a good idea. And that's it. That's 15 things I think Apex should add or change in this upcoming Season 21 mid-season update. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have some of your own ideas or you've got opinions on what I said, I would love to hear them. If you guys haven't subscribed, of course, I'd appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching to the end, and I'll catch you all in the next one.